नमस्कार दोस्तों, वेलकम टू Litecity, the YouTube channel dedicated to the help and discovery of literature, facts, fun, trivia, information, explanation, everything you will find here in this channel. And at present we are running a marathon of MCQs related with 20th century literature. And dear friends, in today's edition we are once again with 5 very exciting questions. So let's start our today's quiz. And our first question of the day is about Lauren Vivian Hansberry, who is the first African American female author to have a play performed on Broadway. She is so much popular, and her best known work, A Raisin in the Sun, is basically a penetrating psychological study of a working class black family on the south side of Chicago in late 1940s. You have to tell the name of the work from which the title A Raisin in the Sun is derived from. And options are The Tempest by Shakespeare. Second option is Lycidas by Milton. Next one is Harlem by Langston Hughes, and the last option is The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Okay, dear friends, we know that how many titles have been derived from plays of Shakespeare, and also there have been works named after lines from The Tempest. Similarly, Lycidas and Paradise Lost and many other works of Milton has given other writers idea to title their works. The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe is very fantastic poem, but the correct answer for this is the poem Harlem by Langston Hughes. Is a very famous poem in which he says that what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Remember, the poem itself is very important, as well as this work, A Raisin in the Sun. Moving with our second question, which among these pairs of a poet and the poem closely associated with the Harlem Renaissance? We have discussed 2 or 3 times already Harlem Renaissance. It was a movement, we can say a revival of black American writers, and so many great writers at one particular time they sought to set their identity, and you have to find which among these pair is not correctly matched of the poet and the poem. The first one is Claude McKay, and the poem is If We Must Die. Second is County Cullen, and then we have I Have a Rendezvous with Life. The third one is Langston Hughes and The Negro Speaks of Rivers. And the last one is Zora Neale Hurston, and the title of the poem is Smothered Fires. Okay friends, let me tell you which are the correct one, and then we will reach the wrong one. This one is rightly matched pair. Yes, If We Must Die is written by Claude McKay. I Have a Rendezvous with Life, it is definitely written by County Cullen. The Negro Speaks of Rivers, it is once again a correctly matched pair of the poet and the poem. Zora Neale Hurston is not the writer of Smothered Fires, a very popular poem of the time, but rather it is Georgia Douglas Johnson. She is the writer of this beautiful, poignant poem. Question number 3, we move to, in which celebrated magazine dedicated to the promotion of modernism, James Joyce's portrait of the artist as a young man was serialized? We know very well the importance of this text, how he changed, how he influenced the whole modernist era through his works, and it was this magazine which basically published, serialized this portrait of the artist as a young man. Okay, the name of magazines are The Egoist, Blast, The Dial, and The English Review. All these are very famous magazines. Before giving you the answer, I must tell you something about these magazines, especially the first one, the Egoist. It was basically started by Dora Marsden, and its title at that time was Free Women, and it was established in 1911, and in 1914 it was titled The Egoist. And another very interesting fact is that Eliot was the editor of this, T.S. Eliot was the editor of this magazine from 1917 to 1919. And if we talk about Blast, we know very well that it is related with Vorticist movement, and the editor of this magazine was Wyndham Lewis. The Dial, it is the American magazine, and it is the magazine in which T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland was first published in America. And the English Review, it basically it is a very influential magazine of its own time during 1908 to 1937, and it also promoted many modernist writers, and the editor was Ford Madox Ford. Okay, the answer at present is The Egoist, and this portrait of the artist as a young man, it was serialized from 1914 to 1915. It was the period in which it was serialized. Okay, moving to our next question. Written as an autobiography of Claudius. Claudius, who was a Roman emperor, that starts at the assassination of Julius Caesar in 44 BC and ends with the assassination of Caligula in 41 AD. And the name of the work is I Claudius. It is among the foremost novel of the 20th century. It is a great, work of erudition, and it presents a beautiful point of view, narrative style. You have to tell me the writer, name of the writer, and the options are John Dos Passos, then Hilary Mantel, then William Golding, and then we have Robert Graves. Okay, dear friends, these four writers, all of these have written historical fiction, as this I Claudius is. For example, John Dos Passos, he is most important among the initial modernist writer, and he is famous for USA trilogy, which include the 42nd Parallel, 1919, and the Big Money. Then we have Hilary Mantel, relatively very new writer, and she has written Wolf Hall. Please remember this name. This is very important work, Wolf Hall, which is a fictional account of Thomas Cromwell's rise to power in the court of Henry VIII. William Golding, apart from the famous Lord of the Flies, he has also written a very, very important historical novel, the title being The Inheritors, which is set in prehistoric times, show new people, or we can say Homo sapiens, triumphing over Neanderthals. The answer for this question is Robert Graves. He was a peculiar writer of his own time. His research, his writing style is purely academic. And the last question of the day, the word Shangri-La for a remote utopian land, and the name is derived from James Hilton's novel, which is a story of an Englishman who finds paradise in a Tibetan valley of Shangri-La. So it's a fictitious place, but it became very popular after the publication of this novel. Is it Goodbye, Mr. Chips, Lost Horizon, Random Harvest, or We Are Not Alone? Dear friends, James Hilton is not so much acclaimed writer, but he was very popular during his time. And Goodbye, Mr. Chips, it is in this particular novel a gentle aging schoolmaster and his long close association with the school. Then we have Random Harvest, love story of a man trying to recapture 3 years of his life is spent in amnesia. We are not alone. The tragic consequences of anti-foreign hysteria in England before First World War, and obviously Lost Horizon, most popular of his novel, which is about the Shangri-La. So right answer is Lost Horizon. Okay, this is all for today, these 5 questions, and we have covered almost most of the important novels, and I will continue to put all these questions so that you can gauge the level you have reached, and please try to cover all these writers, all these works. They are very important from examination point of view. Stay safe, dear friends. Thank you.